He was at the show last night, which you said was outstanding. And the last number you did is The End of the World as We Know It, and I Feel Fine. Does this still mean the same thing now as when you wrote it?
It probably actually means more. I think it's almost prescient. Is that the word? That song?
Prescient of what?
Of where we are now, where we are, 8 years later, I guess, having written it. It completely, utterly describes my life as an adult. I don't know that I realized that as I was writing it.
それ以上の意味が多分増してきたっていう。
あれというのは彼らの世界観みたいなのが完璧に現れてると思うし、そうした時にね、あれというのは終末感みたいに対する不安をかき消そうとするものなのか、それともそういう居心地のいい諦めをね感じてる自分たちに対する戒めみたいなものなのか、どういう部分が一番
He's wondering, so I mean, this kind of an outlook on the world, is it your way of sort of accepting what's happening, or are you trying to alleviate your own feeling of anxiety about things coming to an end? How are we to take it?
No, I think the whole thing is written pretty tongue-in-cheek. I don't know that. Excuse me. I think the song is more a comment on the pace of life in the late 20th century, and that the only way to really contend with that and deal with that is to be a human being about it and just say, fuck everything. I'm going to go at my own pace. I'm going to do what I do. And it's not as cynical as it sounds. It's very tongue-in-cheek.
Mm-hmm, but it is about coming to grips with things.
Yeah, and there's a degree of there's certainly a degree of kind of like throwing your hands up and saying whatever, very much. I mean that's kind of what I'm saying, and I think that particular song predates a lot of stuff that came out after it that carries a lot of the same attitude.
In your catalog?
In popular music.
It's popular music?
Yeah. And not to call myself whatever, a poet or a songwriter, but just to say that it certainly connects with something that's been become somewhat of a commodity now.
Are you referring to what they call alternative music?
Yeah, I mean, whatever alternative means in 1995, it doesn't have much meaning.
どうでしょうか。
ください。
はい。
読んでください、今日は。どんどん。
ちょっと僕が途中で突っ込んだんでね、この曲はおそらくね、これから来る時代をある程度予感させたと思うんだけれども、要するにある一つのある世界観というか考え方、何の考え方というか、要するに今その音楽のシーンを表すような、それもしかするとオルタナティブというやつでしょうか。そうは言えるかもしれない。オルタナティブとは今どういう意味をなすかよくわからないんだけども、オルタナティブを予感させたのかもしれない。この曲はね。
じゃあ状況に対するね、今の状況に対する、そのポジティブな見方と考えるべきなのか、ネガティブな見方と考えるべきなのか、どっちで捉える
？How about the way things are right now? Is it something you're positive about? Something you perceive positively or negatively? The state of things right now?
The state of the world.
それ何の状況？
その見えているこの歌の中で特定すると。
Whatever your state you're referring to by the song. Is it the state of the world or the state of your life or
it's the world. It's one person looking at it.
So moving away from the song, what is your personal feeling about the state of the world right now?
Well, things are really fucked up. You gotta have a sense of humor about it. Really. Mm-hmm. I think I've kind of always carried that. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. So on the one hand, it's cynical. On the other hand, it's...
Yeah, I mean, it's what... How old are you?
36
or 35, just it's I think what a lot of people who are our age are kind of grapple with, and that is for the sake of conversation and to be somewhat cliched, the idealism of the 60s and the cynicism of the 80s, thinking human being, and growing up in that kind of middle period and having having one weighing down one side and the other lifting up the other side, and kind of grappling with those two. And again, that's a very simplistic, very cliched, other people have said a lot better than I can, way of looking at the world, but it's a very valid viewpoint, and that's something that I think I embody, and I think a lot of people who are my contemporaries in music and film and in the arts in general also embody.
まあどうにもならないこの世界の中の状況に明らかにとしたして捉えてるっていうのは自分の現状であると。これは世代的なものであって、なぜならば60年代、一方ではね、60年代においては非常にある種の理想主義が流行ったこともあったんだけれども、一方ではその実際の現状っていうのはね、全然それと違うので、板挟みになって、ね、育った世代としてはそれ非常によくありがちな世界観だと思うんだけど。
I mean, I think the song, in a very tongue-in-cheek, very humorous way, is kind of saying, things are utterly fucked up, and what can I do about it? Not a lot. One maybe interesting. It's really hot in here. One maybe interesting. Anecdote about the writing of this song is that I had a dream that's part of it's a big part of the lyrics. The whole last verse kind of refers to this dream. I had a dream where I was invited to a party, and this defines for me a sense of isolation, being a part of something very big, but being completely like your own kind of capsule, like you're a satellite, kind of moving through this thing. I had a dream where I was invited to a party, and everybody at the party, in the dream I walked through the door and looked around, and everybody at the party had the initials LB, except for me. My initials are JMS. Leonard Bernstein was there, Leonid Brezhnev, Lester Bangs, Lenny Bruce, Linda Barry, the cartoonist. Completely like a fucked up dream, and that plays well into the song. The whole last verse is kind of referring to that, and there were jelly beans and cheesecake there, and that was the only food that there was to eat. But I felt very very out of place at that party. So I woke up out of the dream, and the first thing I thought was, wow, I felt really out of place there. Second thing I thought was, what part of my brain has categorized people by their initials, that I would have a dream where there's a party and I'm not an LB person,
So you're saying the dream refers to like a sense of alienation?
Yeah. I mean, that's psychology 101.
例えばね、この先のモンスターっていうのはすごいシリアスなことだと言いながらもすごいユーモラスでアグレッシブであると。っていうのはなんかそれの延長系、そしてそういうような考え方、延長系というふうに。
この曲が。
もう全然例えば、今作の中でもユーモラスモンスターっていうのはね、ある種シリアスなテーマを扱ってるけど、それもすごくユーモラスに扱い、サウンド的には開放的なアグレッシブなものをなるべく目指していると、そういうのはそういう考え方のある種の延長にあると考えてもいいでしょうか。
何が何の延長なんだろう。
こういうような作風、ディレクションというのが、彼がいろいろ話してたもの。
So the album Monster as a whole so deals with rather serious themes, but as you mentioned, in a tongue-in-cheek way, and the sound is very aggressive. I guess that this represents your basic attitude, the kind of attitude you've taken all along. This is a realization of I guess one kind of attitude you've always embraced.
I suppose. I mean, there's also the one thing that I said time and again that I don't write songs about myself, and that's a very common mistake and a very kind of shallow way of reading into the lyrics and interpreting them. And that's fine. I'm fine with that. If that's what level people want to take it to, then let them go with it. I think they're cutting themselves short, but it's not up to me to decide that. But the one thing that I've said this over and over, the one thing that is common in our songs is a sense of hope. No matter how dire, no matter how dark, or sad, or anxious, or whatever it is, there's always hope there, and there's always some sense of humor, even if you have to really dig for it. That's there. That's how I deal with tragedy, and I think a lot of people do.
この通りだと思うんだけれども、もう一つ言っておきたいことは、どんなにね暗い曲あるいはシリアスな曲であってもね、希望の光というものは必ず込めるようにしている。それは 隠れてるかもしれないんだけども、それを腐らせた、それはあるはずだって。だから自分のなんていうかこう起きた悲劇に対応し方はまさにそうだよと。やっぱりユーモアで、あくまでもユーモアで対応する。
わかりましたね。例えばね、今回のモンスターのジュースに関して、いろんなプレスのインタビューに答えてるとにかくアクティブにいろんなインタビューに答えてると。それとかすごいですね、バンク振りかけてきたり、ユーモアのものを取らせたりすると。そういう行動自体も一つなんていうの一貫してると思うんですけれども、彼のやはり今一番必要なのはね、そういう痛みとか混乱に対して、すごく意識的に鈍感であろうとしているようなところがあるんではないですか。
Once Monster was released, ever since it's been released, you've been very active in terms of your press activities. You do a lot of interviews, have been posing for the camera in rather humorous ways, flamboyant ways.
Are you seeing details yet?
Yes, we've been talking about that.
It's a good picture.
It is. It's a very good picture. Anton Corbin,
I trust Anton a great deal, which is why I ever agreed to do any of that stuff. It's really fun.
I was wondering if this is all your way of telling us that to deal with pain and confusion, one has to sort of turn a blind eye to it. One has to be insensitive to pain and confusion in the world.
I don't think so. I think you utterly embrace it. And by doing so, you get much more of a holistic view of what life is really about.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you could go to 100,000 other people that are alive today and get a much better description of that, but I never claimed to be a philosopher.
それやったのことっていうのはね、ちゃんと困難に満ちた人生に向かってやっぱり真正面から向かわなければいけないってむしろ思うんだけど、いいんですか？
例えばね、そのモンスターというアルバムをね、乱暴に定義づけさせてもらうと、いろんな人間たちいろんな人間が抱えている愚かさみたいなものがデフォルメして描いてあると。これというのは、それを批判否定しているんじゃなくて、しっかり見た上で受け入れていかなきゃならないと、解決していかなきゃならないというようなものを示唆しているんですよ。
Wondering, in Monster, you seem to actually you mentioned in the interview in Dublin there that you were referring to a lot of foolishness in life, and I think there are a lot of caricatures depicted in there. Is that your way of accepting the various foolishness in life by making a caricature of it?
No, I mean that's maybe a good way to write a pop song.
By
my intent with this last record was to write really good songs. I think that there's content. Certainly, there's things to be thought about. Crushed Eyeliners, At the surface, it's a song about a drag queen. Of course, it's not. I mean, it's about a woman. At the surface, it's about a crush. In fact, it's about self-identity and what length one will go to become something that you think is appealing to whoever you're attracted to, or in life. The changes that we make.
Where does the transvestite come into that?
Oh, that's what people would automatically think in that song, because it's really campy.
And that was your intention to sort of have those two sides to it?
No, that was not my intention, but I knew upon writing it that that's how it was going to be taken. And it's like, haha, joke's on me. Same thing about Tongue. I mean, everybody thinks that Tongue is a song about giving head to a woman. It's not. Any woman will tell you, and the first woman to tell me was, actually, I bet she did this interview in Dublin, blonde, straight blonde hair.
Yeah.
She was the first journalist to say to me, this is a song written from the vantage point of a woman.
She was reading his questions.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay, then you and her were the first journalists to catch up with that, and to realize that the song was written from the viewpoint of a woman, able to leap over and eclipse the media figure, the person, the celebrity that I am, to see what point of view I was writing from, and I really appreciated that a great deal. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What seems obvious is not always obvious. That's what I'm saying, and those are probably the best examples on this record that I can think of. And also with Crushed Eyeliner, I mean, this song was nothing to me, but a pay-on to the New York Dolls, who I loved and who I wanted to pay homage to. It even quotes, their song Frankenstein in the last chorus.
いくつかランダム昨日ね、カントリーフィードバックを彼がそのフェイバリットソングだという言い方をしていました。それは非常に彼、あれというのは絶望的な歌という捉え方もできる、くらい歌という捉え方もできると思うんですけども、それ以上のフェイバリットだという、具体的な理由というのは何でしょうか。
Last night when you did Country Feedback, you introduced it as your favorite song. He's always been under the impression it's a song about hopelessness. Are you more drawn to your own songs that are more dark and hopeless?
No, but that one just came out of nowhere. And Peter's described me walking into the studio. It was a demo version of a song that we were going to later record in a proper studio. There was no need to re-record it. It defined itself immediately. It was completely evident to all of us that there was no way to ever capture that song again on tape. And so up until maybe 3 years ago, until this tour, we had played that song a total of 3 times. It's really a joy to play it because I think it's an amazing song. I don't think that the song is hopeless. It defines, that song to me is about the utter despair at the end of a relationship, having tried every single thing that you know to salvage this relationship. And there's a degree of catharsis coming out of a relationship that ultimately was never intended to be. It was not destined to be together. Whatever. Yeah. And that's not hopeless. That's a sun coming out. That's what I mean by in every single. I mean, you might be stretching in some of the songs, but in every single song, I think that that hope is there always. And that's just something built into me. I can't not be that way. I could try not to be, and I would come off really stupid. I'd be like a bad Al Jorgensen or whatever. I don't think it would fly.
So you like the song because it's intimate as opposed to being about despair.
I'm sorry?
He thought you were attracted by the despair part of it.
It is. I mean, I think Automatic for the People is a blues record. And I didn't realize that until after we'd written it and it had come out. And I listened to it, and I've been accused of not being aware of what I'm saying in songs. And it's like, come on, it takes 8 months between writing a song and it actually hitting the street. I'm well aware of what's going into those songs and what I'm saying to myself or to anyone else within them. That particular song to me is just an amazing blues song. It's utterly cathartic to me to listen to. I'll put it in my car stereo and listen to it 40 times in a row and never get tired of it. It's a joy to sing too.
もう一つね、彼がスタンドフェイバリットで、アイドルスリープ、アイドルにしても、リレーションシップ、居酒屋のやつ求めてもないというような状態であると、そういうものを、歌っていくこと、作品にすること自体は彼らがすごく重要なことなんです。
And then the other song you introduced as a favorite is I Don't Sleep, I Dream, which is also about relationship gone awry.
I wouldn't say that, no.
Okay, maybe that's part of the rest of the question. Maybe you could first clarify what. Is it also a song about despair, though?
No, I don't usually translate the dreams for people. I mean, the dreams, that's what the song is about.
Yeah.
To me, it's about the difference between real and fantastic. It's a lot more than that.
Well, okay, what
it's a little bit of like a 5-point intersection there, that song.
5-point intersection?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of different ideas coming together.
Oh, I see, converging.
Converging.
Well, and that's what you like about it? It's the point of convergence, all different concepts and ideas?
Yeah, I mean, they flow together sometimes and they clash sometimes, but it'd be hard to do. I mean, I could describe that song from every cardinal point probably and come up with a completely different interpretation. I like playing that song because I get to strap on a guitar and it feels very macho. It's very like, and I was laughing because the band Hole were up there last night, and Courtney's a fucking amazing guitar player, and so is Eric. They're both incredible guitar players. And for them to watch me like put on this thing, which is basically a prop, and play my one A chord really badly. I can't even play that one chord is a joke.
It's a joke.
It is a joke. But Patti Smith, you know, the whole reason that she recorded Radio Ethiopia, which is like a 10-minute opus on her second album, was that she wanted to play an E chord. She wanted the goddamn strap on the guitar, and she did it. And you know, it's you know, it's a tough song to make it through, but it's worth it.
じゃあ明日ね、我々ね、またこうやって言ってるんだけども、彼女のことに聞きたいです。それで、昨日のコンサートのアンコールの前半、レッツミーがあって、エルバディハードがあって、ホールのゴールパークをちらっと彼が歌って、クラッシュ・ザ・アイライナーがやったと。これは、一応オフィシャルのものであると同時に、ある種のクラスにいたね、コートに対する明らかなんか何かしかのメッセージとしてあったんでしょうか。
I was wondering, last night at the encore there, you included doll parts, part of the encore, you know, along with Let Me In, Everybody Hurts, and Crush with Eyeliner. Is that was the official version? Was that because she was there?
Yeah, it was a PM. It was Peter's idea, actually. They live in the same town and know each other. And it's the first time Courtney has seen REM in 10 years. It was 1985 or 84, the last time she saw us. She's a big fan, and I was nervous because she was there. I was also nervous my friend Stephen Dorff was there, and he's never seen us perform. He's seen us practice or rehearse when we were trying out Nathan and Scott in New York. He came and saw that, but he'd never seen me do what I do. I've seen his movies, you know. I know what he does, and I know he's good at it. So I was a little nervous last night, but that was just a little nod to her. And to her band. I think they're amazing.
でね、彼がそのブロンドのだからプロジェクトとやった時に彼自身が一番すごく気を使っているのは自分自身とね自分が書いた曲のその全然をきちっと距離を取って誤解されないようにする重要であるという意味だけど例えばフォトにというのはまさにそれがぐちゃっとしてなっているような状態があるとそういうようなことをね、彼女の間で、会話の際に話題にしたりすることはない。
I'm wondering, in the Dublin interview, you said something about also, a second ago, you mentioned about keeping a distance between you and the characters in your songs, not necessarily all about you. Whereas in Courtney's case, I mean, she lets it all out. That's all of her there. You ever talk about?
I don't know. I wouldn't make that assumption. And I'm not basing that on any inside track knowledge. It would be very easy to listen to her songs and presume that each one of them is about her. It'd be way too easy. We could probably take it to court, but I don't know that that's the case.
Well, this is kind of an inside track question. Do you ever talk about the finer points of composition with her?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what musicians do when we get together.
彼はそう思わなくても、一般的に例えば日本のオーディエンスというのはね、そういうふうに例えばホールの音楽というふうに言われていると、そういう方に関して、感じるとかね。
それは自分、彼女の自分の音楽。
彼の音楽、特に全く日本でそうなんです。
だからあんまりそうしない方がいいぞみたいな警告を今
友人とシンプルな友人としてね彼女に一番現在の彼女に望むものって何ですか現在の彼女に望むものって何ですか彼が彼女に対して何を望むか What do you hope for Courtney? What do you hope she does with her life right now?
Well, I mean, I guess according to the show the other night, they've written a couple of new songs. Those songs were amazing. I hope that they have a good third record. That she takes the energy from the last year, which has been a very tough one for her. And puts her towards her music. I think that's a really good place for it to go. And from all appearances, that's where it's going. She's in a pretty good way right now. 時間があと5分ぐらいしかない。
Got about 5 more minutes before we start taking pictures.
Okay. What is this called? Creep.
That's what they call it. 冷房になってない？いや、まあいいや、時間がないから。Are you not too cold?
No, I'm fine.
Are you cold? Well, I was freezing my butt off, but we got 5 minutes to go, so I'll tough it out.
Put on your jacket.
世の中にはね、音楽に対して影響を受けない人間というのが多いと思うと。ところが私が考えるに、私もそうですけども、彼なんかもそういうふうに音楽を、による影響が非常に強かった人間のように思うと。そのこと自体を自分の弱さの表れだなと思ったりとか恥じたりすることがあります。
You're a music person, obviously a person who's been very strongly affected by music. music takes up quite a bit of your life right now. Is that a strength or a weakness, you think? Being a sort of a music junkie?
On what level? In terms, as a musician, as a composer, as a songwriter, as a human being?
それはその要素、人間としての要素、何の要素？
人間としての要素。
Yes, as a human being. Does it make you deficient in any way?
Is it a detriment? No, I don't think so. That's what I do. It fascinates me.
それはもう形はどうであれ、それは弱さとはとても思えない。
それはある種なんか目的を持っていることの一環であるというような捉え方なんでしょうか。音楽。
So it gives you a purpose, you think, music? A purpose to do something?
例えばあなたの彼のねポップミュージックだと全体的にっていうのはその一つのダブルパイのダウンポップみたいなものがあってそれから飛んでいきなりそのレベルアンダーグラウンドパッチンみたいなのがあるとその後にそのニューウェーブみたいなのが出てくるとその例えば大きく分けて3つに共通するものがあるとしたらそれどういうものなんですか？
最後はジミー・ウェブ。それは前に出てきた。In the interview before, you were talking about your own personal experience with music, saying there was, first of all, the experience with bubblegum pop, and there was a thing with Velvet Underground and Patti Smith, and then like you went on to more like Jimmy Webb type things.
Jimmy Webb. No, Jimmy Webb was when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
Glenn Campbell.
Right.
Glenn Campbell's greatest hit, basically.
Which
I grew up.
But 共通するものがあるのかまたこれは段階的なものなんですか？
Is there one solid thread that runs through that?
Me. That's about it. No, it's just what was on the radio and what I heard as a child. My parents weren't terribly musical. They weren't big music fans. They listened to Gershwin and Mancini and the 1812 Overture with real cannons, and that was about it. Some Kitty Wells.
So you had pretty limited exposure to music.
Yeah, and so I heard what was on the radio, and that was and whatever struck me. And then when I was 15, I discovered the Patti Smith group and television and the whole punk rock scene in New York, and that changed my life forever. 20 years ago. Amazing.
ランダムに最後3つだけ。
Last three questions are sort of random or broken for you.
彼はそのマン・オズ・モーが言っててこれは死んだらどこに行くかについて歌だというふうに紹介してるの聞こえたんだけれども例えばその先の If You Believe Just Nothing Cool みたいな感じのは一般的にねそういうものはすごく神の幻想をもたらすものだけどそういうものに対してしたいというような態度と関係するんでしょうか。
You may be mistaken here, but when you introduced Man on the Moon last night, you mentioned it as a song about where you go when you die. Is it a song that sort of repudiates or is it a song that goes against people's belief about death as the people sort of try to make not I wouldn't call it a virtue, but they try to make it seem more sweet than what it actually is. Yeah. Is it about the myth of that people's trying to the words? So first of all, it's a song about dying at all.
Yeah, very much. That was. I actually regretted saying that. I don't know why I did. I just went on.
I'd say that's a clue.
Well, I felt the necessity to communicate with the audience so they didn't think I was being a movie. That's why I said it. It really had nothing to do with the song. No, I mean I took Andy Kaufman, who used to do Elvis impersonations, and kind of made him the protagonist in this kind of quest. Is there or is there not a heaven? And then from the other way of a two-way street, there's this whole thing about people's disbelief that Elvis is dead, and the desire to keep him alive, to see him at a 7-Eleven somewhere in Wisconsin. That Andy Kaufman got the same thing that he does. I thought it was a big joke. That it was his final joke. It was his final joke. He died.
So people's refusal to believe death is an end.
Yeah, but also just I don't know, whatever. You get up there and it's like instead of the pearly gates, you get a truck stop, and it's like the whole thing is maybe not quite as fantastic as something like that. I mean, I kind of personally feel that people, whatever they go to where whatever their belief system is, that's where they go to when they die. This is kind of like heaven and hell, life is. You make it either by consequence or by choice, by destiny, by fate, whatever you have. You make it what it is.
ですから、彼がね、例えばスターミックチューン でもこの先の資産がでも構わないけれども、その中でジェンダーっていうのを深い神経と別な人と言ったという、その動機というのは非常に敏感なものだとか、個人的な体験が古いのが憤りみたいなものだとか。
People like to play games with the idea of mixing up gender in the songs. What's behind that? Is there some sort of personal experience in your own life, or is it more of a philosophical thing? Is there a gender wall that you want to break down?
Yeah,
myths about gender.
Yeah, I've said it a gazillion times in the last 6 months, but I think that people's ideas of masculinity and femininity are way too constrained. Things are much more mellifluous than that. Concerning sexuality, concerning what is a man, what is not a man, what is a woman, what is not a woman. You know, and culturally, how that can change. You know, this is such a stupid point, but I've always thought, you know, what is the difference? You tell someone that you have a black girlfriend. Let's say you're a white man. You tell someone you have a black girlfriend. They make all these presumptions about that, about what kind of sex life you have, about what your relationship is like. You tell someone you have a Japanese girlfriend. They make all these presumptions about that, and it's polar opposite. They're both women. You know, you do the same things. You know, what's the difference? I don't know. I like dicking around with that. I've always liked the idea too. I mean, I want to be loved by everyone. I think that I don't want the songs that I write to be applicable only to one certain group of people. I kind of want anybody to be able to put themselves in those. I want to be, I want to be every man. I want to be the common voice. And by keeping songs, or the majority of the songs, and I've done this throughout our career, genderless or gender non-specific, it opens it up to a lot more people. I want to be loved by everyone, just like everybody else.
There's that one part of the question, crucial part there. Is that because of personal experience, something that's happened to you, or is that just because of your own theory?
I can't say that I ever really, I mean, again, I've been doing it since the first record. You know, I can't say that I ever really sat down and thought about it. It just seemed like the way to do things.
Yeah. もう最後、以前彼はね、グリーンを確かにリリースがついたと思うんだけども、自分たちの音楽、自分たちのバンドというのは、なんか答えがないと分かってるんだけれども、自分を発するような場所、向かっているような気がするというようなことを思うと、現在でもやはりその途中経過、渦中にあるというような感じがします。
Back about the time of Green, you said something to the effect that you guys knew that your music would not provide the answer, but you were using it as a means of asking a question. Are you still in that phase? Do you think it's providing answers now?
Talking about, are you referring more to political content in the songs, or what? Is that?
それはでも例えばこう何か政治的な事柄を向かって何かを変える、そういう次元の話じゃなくて、
自分たち個人としてバンドとして。
Not in terms of like producing any sort of political ends as much as answering your own personal questions about life, about who you are.
No, I don't. I think that was just a response to being in 1987 and 1988 being kind of titled "The Voice of a Generation" and not feeling like I had any answers at all, and never wanting that burden of that title. And simply saying, I'm questioning along with everyone else. I don't hold the key to the golden door. I don't know where the Holy Grail is. I don't know all this shit. You know, don't put me up there.
That's not expected of you now anymore. You're the voice of a generation.
It still is.
You think so?
Well, no. I mean, I think other voices of generations have come along and wisely refuted that title as well. Kurt Cobain among them. Courtney Love is probably well on her way, Eddie Vedder, and so forth. Possibly Tori Amos.
But I mean, people should look for answers in the popular music of the day.
Should they? I don't know. It seems to provide that, whether intentional or not.
So it
certainly did it for me.
Yeah.
It gave me something to, I don't know, just gave me some grounding. It gave me something to jump off of in my own life, and that to me was really important and very crucial to, you know, my forming as an adult. My forming? Formation.
That's it. Okay, well, I guess we gotta get some photos and get you on your way.
Right.
まあ